I know it's been a minute since I've been on here to make a video. I've had two dreams actually, walking through some bugs. And they both go hand in hand. The first dream is about technology, specifically AI, and about robots. And then the second one specifically about witchcraft, sorcery, that kind of stuff, you know? Now, I'll probably share the dreams in detail at the end, but what these both had in common is they are after our children, and they want to seem harmless, but they are dangerous. Now, with my first dream that I had, definitely was kind of more focused, like I was thinking, okay, technology. But then as I took time to think about it more and pray about it and have the Lord lead me in that, it was more of like a technology leads to AI. Especially this like easy access that we all have to AI. And in this dream, specifically about a robot. Now I can place, I don't know, it was kind of like a Tesla robot. I'm not saying I'm like going after Tesla necessarily, just that look of that robot and how someone's behind in the background. Like this robot has an engineer, this person, like what do you call them? I don't know much about this kind of stuff, but there's someone who has created this robot, someone who's kind of like in control, you know, behind. And as the robot looks friendly, there to help you, specifically in this dream was supposed to be like for a family, a household, to help them. There's this person behind the robot who had created the robot, who was evil, bad intentions, you know what I mean? So, and this robot was really going to like after children. I'm trying to like, hey, look at me, I'm fun, I'm playful, I'll help you, all these things. But I knew in the dream that behind the intentions of the creator of this, the intentions of the heart were evil and bad and all these things. And I was like in the dream trying to protect my children. And then with the witchcraft, same thing. It was like they were like, oh, let me help you. In the front, I'm trying to hold my phone just right where my hand's on in front of the camera. Like they were helping me, they're gonna help take care of my children. In face value, everything looked good, everyone looked safe. But then the main person in charge, yeah, I guess you would say more like a gothy kind of look. But they were trying to be friendly and kind, but I knew in the background of this person was evil, and I knew witchcraft, specifically witchcraft, and they were trying to let me leave my children with them. But these dreams were back to back, and they were very, very similar. And as I was praying about it, it was leading me like they're both hand in hand. This AI technology and witchcraft, they're very hand in hand. I don't know in what way or how. I'm walking through a cloud of gnats right now. Ooh. Got it, like that humidity, the bugs. And so I just like, I don't know, in prayer it felt led that I had to share that I don't know what you all think or where the Lord's led you and all that, but we have to be very careful in what we allow in the home, what we say yes to, not walking in discernment. And I had come across this show. It's a podcast on YouTube, so they have podcasts called The Confessionals, and this one recently was interviewing Nathan Reynolds. I've been following Nathan Reynolds and his family and their journey for years, so I was really glad to hear that he was on with The Confessionals. And there's a point at 2 hours and 9 minutes in, I highly suggest just go and listen to it, where he talks pretty much exactly what the Lord was like showing me in my dreams about how evil witchcraft, Satan, the demonic realm, all of that is really behind technology. Now, he doesn't go specifically into like AI and robots and stuff like that, but technology in itself. People are like, well, there's so much good in technology. God can use whatever he wants for his glory. And I know he's taken advantage for sure of technology, but I think the intentions behind the people like creating these things in technology, specifically AI, is like not good intentions, not for the glory of God. Like, they're not doing it like, hey God, we're gonna bring you glory. No, they're doing it for control and power, and that's what witchcraft is, control and power, right? So kind of curious how the Lord's leading you in all that. I know a lot of people really enjoy the AI stuff, and I don't know, I just know that it's after our children. Maybe it's just like the generation that's being brought up literally in it. So after our children, they are coming off helpful, friendly, kind, all these wonderful things, very enticing, very like open, inviting, but they're evil and they're dangerous. So a lot of warnings in there, a lot of red flags. Well, that's it, and I felt led to make this video and post it. So be pacing because it's that time of evening where I'm getting bit by mosquitoes. Don't want to stand still, be an easy meal, if you know what I mean. So the dreams. The first one was like doesn't really matter, but I was back home. I was just back at where my grew up, and my dad. It was like a setup. It was like, how someone would come to your home and be like, hey, buy our products. Let me show you our products, kind of thing. And this person was bringing their robot because my dad and my mom needs like a helper in the home. So it was kind of like we entered in, and when we entered in, it was our home, but then it like everything changed. It was like all of a sudden we're in this like weird dark building. There's a stage. There's the robot literally like floor level to us, and someone behind the robot up high, and he's promoting this robot, like how this robot's gonna be incredibly helpful and a friend and this and that and all that good stuff, what they say with robots. I could sense the darkness, and I was like, no. I remember I was like, my dad had me there to be a voice, to help him make that decision. I mean, maybe to be a helper in the discernment, I suppose. And I was telling this person, no, thank you. And they were getting really frustrated with me because they can tell that I was just shutting them down. Like, nope, not doing that. Nope. And every time I shut them down, you can see the anger and evil like in this person's eyes, who's behind the robot, the person who created this thing. And he just wanted to push up like, but it's so good and helpful and all these things. And then next thing you know, the robot runs to the back of this building, and the back of this building is like a play area for the children while the adults are watching this thing. And when that happens, it's like the robot wants to go like, well, I'm gonna go befriend your children and I'm gonna just go after them. And so I went after that robot, and I was at the same time scared because I was like, I don't know, like, strength of this robot, I don't know what's happening. And this robot, then I was able to somehow overpower this robot just to grab it, drag it up to the stage, and it was fighting me, trying to get back to the children, like fighting me to get back to the kids as I'm bringing it up to the stage where this person is in front of all the adults. And because it was fighting me, I had, I don't know, in the dream had the strength to just like twist the head off of this robot. And the guy, the creator of this robot, was so angry. And then he quickly turned it into this like tiny little robot that flies, and then it went like zoom back to the children. And I went back, and I had to like persuasively stop the robot, like pretend to be its friend, to get it to go away from the children, and am like bringing it along with me without force, but kind of like play along. Does that make sense? And when I was playing along, it was like, oh, a friend, let me befriend you. And it was so happy to be my friend. And it was like, it was way too, like when that was happening, I was like, oh my gosh, I could see how easily someone would be like really persuade to allow this into their lives, into their homes. Does that make sense? And that was the end of that dream. Now on to the witchcraft dream. It was literally like I think I woke up and it was on, and then I fell back to sleep and into this next dream. And into this next dream, I'm not going to say names or anything, but it was more of like familiar in the sense of taking me to familiar places, familiar people. And I'm not talking like familiar spirits either. I just don't want to say names. Does that make sense? I was in the car and my mom had told me, you need to drop your children off at this place. They're going to watch your kids for you. And I said, okay, you know, and this place is someone's home I used to know way back when. And when I was dropping them off, it was like a family member's home. And when I was dropping them off, I let them all out of the car, go on in, bye, see you later. I didn't even like walk them in the house. And I started to drive away, and I noticed that in the car with me was the family member's house. That I was like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at that house. And then things were clicking with me. I was like, wait a minute, this person doesn't live there anymore. It's like somebody else's home that I know, but somebody else's home. And I was like, hold on a second. Something doesn't seem right here. So then I flip around. Well, first I was like, get out of here, get back to the house. I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to go check this out. So I go back to the house and I go back inside, or I get inside the house, and I realize, okay, I know the layout in the house. Like in my dream, it's like, because I've been there before. And I would say face value, everything seems okay. And I'm like, okay. And I see the person that I know whose house it is, like it's a couple. And I see this house, that person there, and I was like, that person seems oddly to themselves, like over there. Does it make sense? And this is a male. And I'm like, okay. And I notice that the TV's on, and I don't notice anything wrong with what's on the TV because I'm very, very careful about that. And then I'm scanning and I see the children, and I notice like it's not just my kids. There's neighborhood kids I know, and then there's other family members' children there too. And whoever these people are, which in the dream, I know them, they're somehow, for some reason, watching all these kids. And for some reason, I was being told to take my kids there too. Like it wasn't a big deal. Like it wasn't a big deal. So then I am scanning and I see one of my children, and I notice there's a door that goes into a hallway into the rest of the house, and it's locked. And I'm giving this discernment of like, make sure my children do not ever enter that door and go behind the scenes kind of thing, like in the back. So I see one of my children who is like, I know will follow my rules and make sure everyone else does. And I tell him, never go back there. Don't ever enter that door. Do not go back there. And he goes, okay. And he's just sitting on the couch, like watching the TV. And as I come in, there's this like a dining table, and that's where all the women are. So it's interesting that the man who's, you think, head of the house is like off to the side, quiet, like almost like, how would you say, not involved, like he has no authority. Does it make sense? And there's this table of women, and the family member I dropped off ended up walking up because they all know each other, and said hi, and sitting down, doesn't sense anything's wrong. I instantly, as I entered, it was like, something doesn't seem right, which is weird because everything seems okay. I sense something's not right here. And I go over to the table. I don't really sit down. I'm more of like observing. I'm saying, noticing everyone. Everyone's saying, oh, hey, you know, everything's good. Come join us. And they're trying to do this. And the woman of the house is all gothic, all in black. And I know witch. She's a witch. And I'm not like being mean in a way of saying that. I just know in my spirit she's a witch. But she's playing it off like super kind, super hospitable. Like nothing is wrong. Everything's okay. And I just remember standing there in my dream thinking, why? Why do you have all these kids here? Why was I told to drop my children off here? What's going on? And I know something evil's going on, even though in face value, everything seems okay. And I sense danger. Does that make sense? Like there's some sort of evil danger, something, but I couldn't like see it. Okay, and that's just kind of how it ended. There's a little bit more, but it's more, I would say, personal in the sense of like people. I don't want to say names on here, but the correlation, like let's say the similarities, is the sense of everything's okay, everything's fine, face value, but really behind the scenes, the person who's really in control, the person behind the scenes, behind the door, all this stuff is actually evil and dark. You need to be very careful. You need discernment. You have to have the Holy Spirit to give you discernment for these things, because face value might not catch it. And that's what I was noticing in these dreams, that actually, no, our children are in danger, and somehow technology, specifically AI, but technology, AI, and witchcraft go hand in hand. They're like this. And if we don't have Holy Spirits discernment, then how are we going to protect our children? Yeah, so those were the dreams. That's why I put it at the end of the video if you really wanted to hear the details of it. But those were the dreams and how the Lord was showing them to me. And then as I prayed about it and sat with him, like what he was like kind of telling me and revealing to me.